but say you're on this ship to Mars, and he says, Mike, you can take one movie with you. We don't have a lot of space. What would that one movie be?
Goonies.
Really? That's your favorite?
I mean, I got to laugh.
Okay.
I got to laugh, and,
Goonies is a classic, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, it was
treasure hunt, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to True Talk. Got my man Mike Dececco with us today. How we doing, Mike?
Good. Thank you, sir.
Awesome, man.
Good to
Thanks
see
for
ya.
joining. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a long time in the making. You were like one of the OG True Talk guests.
Yeah, I was, the first month I worked here, I had a pretty good month, and I was
Yeah.
on with you. Lots changed since then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was different back then. I was like, you have a good month? Come on, you be on the podcast.
Yeah.
But here we are. So you've been doing a lot with us. So you hit Hall of Fame 23, correct?
Yep.
First time?
Yep.
What changed there? Like, cause I know you were close last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the big change you made?
I had a legit plan
Yeah.
going into 2023.
Yeah.
Back half of 2022, switched up leads and got an appointment setter and went 100% telesales.
Got it.
And going into 2023, had momentum. I think that was kind of key right there because, January started off big, and then we just kept it moving and tweaked it as it went. And I had a good control over my schedule this year, which takes a lot of time and, tweaking to get. Once you have full control of your schedule, you feel it like you know it.
Right.
And it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I can put these numbers up. I can be a dad. I can do this. I have control of my schedule. Once we had that, we just amped up the lead flow.
Got it.
And just went on from there, man.
So you increase leads, increase activity.
That's it.
And control your schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not to minimize it, but it's like you ask, 20 Hall of Fame producers, they're all going to say about the same thing. Like there's no secret to it. It's just you got to do it and you got to be consistent.
That's it.
You've been with us since 21, right? So June of this year will be 3 years with us.
Yep.
And you've gone through some struggles, right? And I think that's what we're talking about today is kind of what you've gone through and how you ended up on the other side, right? So everyone knows now you're Hall of Fame producer, everything's great. Wasn't always that way.
No.
You knew Sean for a while, right? You said he coached your son playing baseball.
Yep.
And that was that before FFL or after?
Right when 2013. Yep. So what was the start date for FFL? Was
12, 13.
So right there. So he coached my son, I think in 2012 and 13.
Yeah.
Him and Trevor. Trevor was on my son's team. So.
Got it. So you live here in Montville?
Yep. I grew up a mile down the road.
Yeah.
So.
Got it. And what happened then? Why didn't you join us then?
I was going through it personally.
Yeah.
So to be candid, which I am, I'm a very transparent person.
Yeah, hence the shirt.
Right. So I was, I have the best, you can ask Sean, I have the greatest parents on planet Earth.
Yeah.
My kid is amazing. I was very naive to a certain side of life.
Okay.
I worked at the casino right down the road. I worked at Michael Jordan's.
Yeah.
Good time, great time, this, that, whatever.
What'd you do there?
Server bartender.
Okay.
So probably only server bartending job where you can make close to six figures.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, right? So I started dabbling in the wrong, things. And before you knew it, I was like your typical case of progression.
Yeah.
Fast forward 3 years, I was homeless.
Wow.
So I was going to whoever's attic or basement or room, kind of living off of, he's not a bad guy, but he's going through something.
Right,
He can crash here for a little while.
Wow.
And then if you go down the road 5-6 miles, 7-Eleven in New London, I was basically behind a dumpster.
Really?
Back there, yeah. So
we went from you working at Michael Jordan's at casino, making good money, got messed up into some drugs or whatnot. And was that your first time ever dabbling with this stuff? Like, you don't have a history. I
was 28.
Wow.
So I was 20, end of 20, 27.
Got it.
Yeah, so it was late in life. Again, I was naive. I was never around anything like that.
It was all new to you.
Yeah, I mean, the basic stuff, drinking.
Sure.
anything illicit or hard or,
Yeah.
No, never been around any of it. Had no idea what it would do. 2 months later, wondering why, I'm like curled up on the bathroom floor.
Wow.
And, it was on from there. I didn't really know any better.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what addiction was really.
And what was the time from like, you started to when you said you were homeless pretty much? How long did that take?
Not long.
Really?
Not long at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I drained the bank. I was probably 3 years.
Yeah.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, that's a long time. But,
Sure.
when you're out self-sabotaging yourself, it happens overnight, man.
Did you know you were self-sabotaging at the time or no?
No clue.
Well,
No
what
clue.
did you think you were doing?
Fooling everybody,
Yeah. Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. You're the last one to figure it out, basically.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you think they don't know.
Yeah, you think. But they do, and I had a lot of support. I showed up to my parents' house one day. The locks were changed.
Oh, wow.
So if anyone were to see the dynamic between my parents and I, like, they're my best friends.
Yeah.
So having those doors locked was the start of my, epiphany, if you want to call it.
Was that when you like hit rock bottom or whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was time to change. It was time to change.
And you had kids at the time, right?
I had full custody of my sons.
Okay.
Or one son, joint of the other.
Yeah.
Lost both.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, this downward spiral, you hit rock bottom. And how did you move on? Like, when did you know it was time to do something to get help or whatnot?
I think my biggest struggle was knowing the capabilities, I guess. I have talent, whatever you want to call it. Took it for granted.
Yeah.
Knew I could do good things in my life. I guess I really just needed to find something to embed myself in so that I could not embed myself in the wrong thing. And someone gave me a shot at a local agency, basically.
Yeah.
I had a decent spot to live at the time. I worked at Lake of Isles Golf Course.
Okay.
I helped operations out there. So I made okay money. I went to the program as much as I could.
Yeah.
And at that point,
now, was that, like, how humbling was that? Because, they always say the first step is admitting, right?
Yeah.
And you said for a while you were trying to fake everyone, even
yeah.
yourself. Like, how humbling, but also how, like, relieving was that to go, hey, I have this problem, I'm going to check myself in?
It's a perfect way to put it. It's everything, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, getting that feeling was like you're setting yourself free.
Yeah.
It's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's out of the closet. No more skeletons to hide. Your parents know everything.
Yeah.
You're done hiding, and you can only really go one way from there once
Yeah.
everything is out. So you have to put the work in.
Right.
To stay clean, you really have to put the work in, and I relate that to this business. It's the same thing. Like to be successful in this business, you have to put the work in.
Day in and day out.
Day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I got a shot at a local agency.
Yeah.
Had no idea what the insurance business even looked like.
Right. It wasn't Life, right? It was PNC?
PNC,
Yeah.
and I was, after about a year, I was putting up like 40, 50 policies a month, and I was like not paying my rent. So I'm like, something's got to give here.
Right.
I called Sean.
Yeah.
Talked to.
You knew Sean was already doing this at the time, or?
Yeah. Every time I drive by, there's a different G-Wagon or something out in the front. So, but yeah, no, he was. I had known when he was coaching my son, like he was doing something.
Did he try to recruit you back then?
He did.
Yeah, just wasn't the right time.
Nah, I still remember it. You want to sell some life insurance? I was like, how much do they make? And you like said a number out loud, and I was just like, but I was so embedded in the wrong thing at that point.
That was before you had got into recovery.
Yeah.
So you weren't really thinking, so you're just, whatever, man. Sounds good, but I'm preoccupied.
Yeah, but I had seen something with Sean. I had asked Sean, like, can I talk to you on a daily basis, or can I, have some help? Can you give me some advice?
Yeah.
His first advice to me was get up before 7, which, I think I was bartending at the time, getting home at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So he still said get up before 7.
Yeah.
But, seeing somebody who was successful, but coaching the kids, having the time and all that stuff, you know, it's like, what is that person doing? So every time
did you know he had gone through recovery, Tim? He's
at that point,
something.
I did not.
You did not.
He's 20 plus, I did not. I think that's why he offered the help, though.
Okay, so he knew kind of what you were going through.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I've never asked him, but I believe so. He's not a stupid man.
No.
So once I figured out I could talk to people, I knew insurance a little bit. Didn't know life insurance, but you figure, you know.
And were you cold calling there, or what were you doing for your?
So like at a captive agency or for a captive company, they have a bunch of ways that they create leads, and then you'll dial out. A lot of it though was referral based. I made a bunch of wrote a bunch of policies just off referrals.
It was all over the phone.
People would just walk in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one thing. The brick and mortar of a captive agency or a captive company. You know, people love the commercials. Hey, let's go in and check it. But you know, at the end of the day, you only have the mothership of that product.
Right.
So if your quote doesn't beat the other quote, you can't help them. The other thing is like if one of your clients walks in and had a heart attack 3 years ago and they want life insurance, you've got nothing for them.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like that. You want to be able to help everybody. So.
Gotcha. How long were you there for?
I think 3 years.
Yeah.
Around 3 years. Yeah.
And did you go right from there to FFL?
Yep.
What made you even make that decision, that jump?
I had spoken to a few agents. Knew
that
that
with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Knew that if I knew that if I basically put the same amount of time and effort and energy in, I'd be better off.
Got it.
You know, it was tough though in the beginning here. I just ran around upstairs, grabbed everybody's old leads, and but I was willing. Like I was willing to do whatever. That's another thing about recovery. Until you're willing to listen and take any suggestion, you're not going to get there. So for here, how many people have we seen come in and they're like, I got this, man. Like they don't want to listen. They're gone. Like 2 weeks later, see you later. Yeah. You have to be, you know, I was willing to listen to whoever, whenever, however.
Yeah.
We've got tons of training. I mean,
was that the biggest lesson you learned in recovery, or was there others?
There's tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give me a few of the ones that transcend here, because you said earlier, like there's a lot that you learned there that you put to use here.
Yeah. Discipline is one.
Yeah.
Right. Mindset. You've got to be in the proper mindset daily, and you've got to be able to cope with certain things. Like I was an excuse user, if you want to call it. So like something bad would happen.
That's why.
Yeah. So you know,
how'd you stop that?
Get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You know. So if the same thing's happening here, every call you're on, you're getting hung up on, or like you're probably not in the right mindset.
Right.
You're probably not disciplined. There's a lot that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Recovery and this job, at least for me, obviously.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own process.
But I mean, you're not. We've had Shannon Womble here, who's talked about very similar story. I mean, Sean, obviously, and also just maybe not just recovery, but there's like Austin Harless has a great story about mental health issues that he's overcome, and a lot of the same principles kind of line up.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I mean, anything you're looking to do in life, it boils down to mindset, boils down to activity. We say attitude, activity.
Yep.
The two things that you can control, the only two things you can control in this business. And doing things, if you don't control them, you will not have success in this business.
Nope.
You can't. You can have great mindset, but if you ain't working, don't matter.
Nope.
Right? You could work your ass off, but if this is messed up, this is what you're talking about. Every call's going the wrong way, right? No one's home. No one wants to talk to me. Everyone hangs up.
This industry sucks.
Yeah.
And you're done. Yeah.
It's the industry, the leads, the this, the that.
Any other excuse.
Yeah. How big was coming? Because when you joined, I mean, there was a lot going on upstairs. Like Schmidt has his team was there was a lot of people in the office at that time. Yeah. How big was that to be around? Because you came in, you sold some policies in PNC, very different ball game, right? You had people walking in, like you said. Here, we're all lead based, and at that time we were still going out in the home, right?
Yep.
But you had people up there that were doing it. How much did that help you being around that?
I strategically grabbed the office next to Schmidt.
Okay. Just
so I could hear what he was doing. And was huge. I didn't leave until he left.
Yeah.
I got here when he got here. I had Matt Walker Sr. across from me.
Yeah.
He was huge. Anybody up there selling at a high level, again, I was willing. I was willing to listen, and it was very helpful, man.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful to be around high-level producers.
Right. Because if your mindset's right, you look at it as, okay, well, these guys are doing it. I'm not yet, but I could figure it out, right? Like there's something that I can learn from him.
Yes.
What's different about him than me? Maybe he's working harder right now,
right.
But I can meet his work. But you got to see it too. It's one thing for me to tell you, hey, Mike, this is how you have to work here.
Yeah.
Or I could just sit and go, hey, dude, sit next to Schmidt and see what he's doing and copy that.
That's it.
It's different.
Going back to the capabilities, right? I've always felt like if I'm around something or I'm focused on something for long enough, I will do it just as good or better.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where I put myself. A lot of people want, their results tomorrow.
Right.
You can't have that mindset. You've got to be willing. Jordan and I were just talking the 100 appointments.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to go through 100 appointments, if you're not willing to hear a bunch of no's,
right,
you're not gonna be here for long.
Did that, when you first started, was rejection something that you were accustomed to? Did you embrace it, or did you struggle with it early on?
I'm grateful to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So rejection to me is just part of the process.
Got it.
Doesn't really bother me at all. It's just, we all know in this business, no is said more than yes.
Sure.
Right? So if you're okay with that, rejection is never really the door's locked at my parents' house. Rejection,
right?
That'll sting.
Yeah,
and teach you a lesson. But
do you think back to those moments when you're struggling here, like, because it's easy to get sidetracked. Like, you kind of get tunnel vision. You're having a bad day on the phone, and it's easy to slip into that. It's this damn client, these leads that so and so told me to get, blah blah blah. Like, do you go back to some of those moments when you're dealing with that?
I do, even if I'm not dealing with it.
Okay.
I play the tapes all day, every day anyways.
Yeah.
Just because.
Just keep your mind right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never want to go back.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes out of it.
Yeah. Is that what drives you?
Yeah, I'll say it out loud. I have like a hit list, like on my wall, of people who told me I was this, that, never going to do this or that. I think success is the best revenge.
Sure.
I'm not a person who likes to fight or have wars or verbal wars.
Right.
But
you use that for motivation.
Yeah. I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So what's it like now? So you said you lost custody of your kids. Mm-hmm. You got them back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're coaching them full time.
Yep.
So walk me through, what are the differences now compared to before, you got clean, you got into this business, so on and so forth?
Yeah, just the control of everyday life. I know daily that, when people say block your schedule out or this, that, it sounds like weird to you at first.
Right.
You're like, nah, I don't know. But literally blocking out your schedule, family time, you time, work time. Mm. It was all over the place back then.
Yeah.
And it was just me showing up and then leaving. Show up to the game, leave. So now, this past year, my 19-year-old and I coached my 12-year-old.
That's awesome. So
I was sitting there one day on the field, and we're having a three-way pass, and I'm just that's a sign to me that things have changed. I have changed. My kids.
How do they look at you? Did they know what you were going through? Maybe not every detail, but they knew you were struggling.
My youngest son doesn't know as much as my older son. My older son went through it for sure. Yeah.
How's he look at you now?
He thinks I'm the strongest person on planet Earth.
That's awesome.
And I think he's the strongest on planet Earth, right? Because he had to go through a bunch of that stuff, man. And my parents are great people. I get resentful at myself. Yeah. Because I needed to be a parent to my firstborn child. Mm-hmm. His grandparents were his parents, technically. I was there. Yeah. But I wasn't parenting, And he's actually working with us now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he started. He sold a couple policies, and
Nice.
he's but he's going through it, right?
Yeah.
So like he's got his own struggles, and
Right.
when I see him struggle, I obviously take the blame for it, and I'm hard on myself. But our relationship has never been better, never been stronger.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I can't complain.
And I'd imagine now the door's open at your parents'.
Doors open. Yes.
That's great.
Doors are open.
Dude, I mean, it's a great story, dude. And I'm proud, like, because I've known you. I didn't know this extent of it, but I've known you for a few years now, and I'm proud to see it, dude. It's awesome.
I appreciate that.
And I think it's inspiration for a lot of people. You never know. I mean, there's probably someone watching right now going through similar.
That's
struggles.
a struggle. Well, and that's a struggle too, because it's like I'm a private person.
Yeah.
It's not like I want to go tell this to the world, but at the same time, I would have loved to have heard this when I was there, right? So, I think it's time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put it out there 2 months in. I wanted to have a legit, run at it.
Yeah,
I wanted to know that I could do this, and I wanted to know that I'm going to do this forever, build an agency.
Yeah.
And then tell the story, because you can, just because you have a good 6 months, I'm going to tell my story.
Yeah. We were joking about the first time you were on, you had a big month, yeah, sure, bring them down.
Yeah.
But it was a different FFL at that point.
It was.
Now, I mean, you've shared a little bit earlier about giving back, because I mean, you've gone through recovery, you've been in some of these facilities or whatnot. Did you do the whole did you go in then have to go to halfway house and whatnot? How'd you go from that to back on your feet?
Yeah, I did. Your state-run facilities, your classic detoxes, they put you wherever afterwards.
Yeah.
You're crammed into a house somewhere with 40 other addicts or felons, and you just got to make it work.
Right.
And it's tough. At the end of the day, you've got to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. Just thinking back to it, right now, H2, Huntington Street in New London, man.
Yeah.
God Almighty, man. But with the detox facilities and all that stuff, you've got to go through it. You've got to go through it. If you're willing to get clean, you'll get clean in a cardboard box.
Right.
If you're willing, right? So, if you're willing to do this business, you'll be willing to call 3-year-old leads.
Sure.
That's just
Yep.
It's just a fact, right? So, once I got out of the sober house, that's when I had the decent living situation. That's when I got the shot at the insurance company and went from there.
Got it. What do you do now to give back?
So I'll randomly, for this year's Thanksgiving, well, first and foremost, my agency's MO is we just want to give back.
Yeah.
Give back. That's what motivates us. It's what fuels us. If you're having a crappy day and you go help somebody who needs help, you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I stocked a couple shelves and tables for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I will go to Walmart and I'll grab all the necessities, T-shirts, underwear, sweatpants, socks. When I went to detox, I had a black plastic bag, a book, and a T-shirt.
Wow.
So after you go through your first couple days of feeling terrible,
you
finally can wake up and shower. You don't want to put that stuff back on, right? So somebody gave me a fresh white tee.
Okay.
And honestly, it gave me a little bit
that
of
feel
hope.
like?
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
man. It's okay, this is what life feels like. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So I dropped that stuff off just randomly.
Yeah.
I'll go spend $1,000 at Walmart and just drop it off to the detox I went to.
You get to give it to the actual people who live there or no?
No, I give it to people working the counselors.
Yeah, gotcha. That's awesome, dude. I mean, because what it's been like, and it's you said this before we started, but a lot of this is so analogous to this business, right? I mean, helping no different than brand new someone giving you a set of leads First set of leads that you didn't pay for. Like it's different, but it's similar concept, right? Something that you're in need of, and you've been there. Yeah. And you've been in their shoes where you got that white tee and it was such a big deal, and to be able to do that on your own now, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I love being able to help people.
Yeah. What are your goals for this year? So right now you have an agency. How many families you guys help on a monthly basis, roughly?
Small. Last year we were small. It was basically 2 of us writing a ton of business.
So you're just getting going on the agency side.
I had up to 25 agents at one point.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't structure it properly.
Yeah.
Didn't help properly. I didn't lead properly. So I wanted to be able to produce at a high level first. Yeah. Obviously, hiring. I'm a warm market guy. I listen to Zach when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple really, really amazing warm market hires that are now up and rolling.
Yeah.
But we'd be over 100 families a month between the 2 of us.
Got it.
So I have 2 of the best appointment setters on planet Earth.
Yeah.
They are vital to what we do.
Yeah.
When we get on the phone with our clients, they have already broken down the walls. The credibility is there. The trust is there.
Yeah.
They're vetted health-wise. So they're amazing.
You can just do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Now early on, how was that transition from going, from the PNC life to doing what we do here? Like, where did you struggle mostly? Was it on the phone? Was it in the home? What did you have?
Everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Again, the fact that I was very willing.
Yeah.
I picked it up quick. But if we leave a home and we don't call.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right.
Why are we doing that?
Did you do that early on?
I did that early on. Yeah.
Why?
Ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I should have done this.
Right.
Like, no, that's.
Or there's nothing they're gonna tell me that
Yeah,
they wouldn't have closed it either.
so stupid. Like.
Yeah. How long did that take to get past to where you started calling?
A couple times of getting yelled at.
Yeah.
By Walker. Yeah.
That'll happen.
But struggling on the phones, I think there's nobody that's going to not struggle.
Yeah.
On the phone.
What you struggle with the most on the phone?
Probably my own mindset after getting hung up on, stuff like that. Like, you don't think it's a thing at first.
Right.
You think everybody's gonna like answer and have like lunch waiting for you with like a check staple. No. You have no idea what's going on in that person's life.
So you get hung up on, then how would you react?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough at first. Now it's just like it's so just part of what we do.
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I love dialing out still sometimes. But with like the leads we run and the way we have things set up, there's not many.
Yeah.
They know why we're calling.
Right.
So, but obviously objections at first.
Yeah.
Were, I think with everybody, that's the toughest.
Well, yes, a lot of times you think you have to overcome them, and it's really the idea is to avoid them, to do things in your script to not get them.
Get rid of them get them out of the way.
But it's crazy to hear. Like day one, when I'm sure when they told you, hey, if you get an objection, it's on you, you probably didn't believe it.
No.
You probably thought it's bullshit. It's the client.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is on you.
It is.
It's the way you're talking. It could just be your tone. It could be the way you said hello. Like, that sounds crazy. No, it's not.
No, it's not crazy at all.
Yep.
Tonality and delivery is everything.
Yeah.
Is everything. I'm a very transparent person. I talk like this on the phone. I talk like this in real life. And, I've just, the perspective that I have in life, I can't not be transparent.
Yeah. So
these clients deserve transparency.
You say you were always that way, or did that happen after you got clean?
Yeah. I'd say after.
Really?
I think in our industry it's key because, like we were talking about earlier, the commercials and the flyers and all the things that people get that are marketed with life insurance, very wishy-washy stuff, and a lot of them can put that client in a very tough spot at the end of the day. I try to tell people, if the company is spending millions and millions of dollars monthly to market their product, the product probably doesn't speak for itself.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to be in an increasing term that drops me at 80 because it sounded good on a flyer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Now, you started when we were in the home. You transitioned to telesales 100%, right?
Yeah.
How was that transition?
Went live transfers first. I drove to Cape Cod for an appointment and got no-showed. I drove like 2.5 hours. I've told the story before, but we had those sheets like, hey, I was here.
Yeah.
I put like 70 like on the house, the car, the mailbox. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But, at that point, I called Aaron Meredith on the way home and was like, we need to figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm never driving 2.5 hours to a no-show again. Probably stupid on my part, to be 100% honest with you, looking back, obviously. But I started live transfers the next day.
Yeah.
And I did 9,700 from the recliner.
Wow.
I was never leaving my house ever again.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was, now how do we figure this out?
Mm-hmm.
How do we budget this? How do we talk to X amount of people per day?
Yeah.
And then,
what would you say the biggest changes you had to make to be efficient with telesales? This is a different sale. What'd you have to change the most?
you got to stack the deck big time.
Yeah.
Like big time, big time. It's not just 8 a day. If you want to put up numbers, you've got to put 15 appointments.
Got it.
Up there to minimum 12 for.
Because your show rate's not going to be the same.
No, and with our girls, like with our appointment setters, our show rate has never been under 60%.
That's really good.
Knock on all the wood.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have a lot of conversations. I would say with applications, like a lot of these carriers have become, savvy to us doing telesales now. Right. Applications and stuff like that. Everybody now, like Americo made the switch quickly to that text, the text authorization.
Yep.
It was tough to run other applications over the phone,
right,
than it would be in the home. When you're talking to an 83-year-old, guy or girl out in the middle of Texas somewhere, they're not looking to e-sign something.
Right.
So that was a struggle at first, and then just getting the talks, because live transfers they're not cheap.
Right.
I think All Web, to me, All Web was probably the best when I was using them, but they're $60, $70, $80 a pop to talk to somebody. So you go 0 for 4 real quick.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's why, I say, and we've said this forever, this business is not for everyone.
No.
It takes a certain type of individual. It takes above average effort, above average attitude, mindset. Like it's not a, hey, anyone can do it. And it's not true.
No.
It's actually, most people can't. Like, well, you shouldn't say that on a podcast. No, it's true. Most of y'all can't.
Yeah.
There's a small percentage of, if you're not with us, and there's a small percentage of you that would actually have success here. And that's okay.
At a high level, that's it's way smaller.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we were to look at the whole industry, hitting Hall of Fame at FFL, I don't know what that looks like across all the other IMOs, but I would assume.
I don't think they don't have those numbers.
Right. I would assume if you're hitting Hall of Fame at FFL, you're in a very, very small percentile of agents.
Yep.
And
well, of the thousands of agents we have, Mike, a little over 100 have hit Hall of Fame the past couple of years. So it's a small percentage. Yeah. Which is why I love what we do, because it's not for everyone. It's for, and you don't want, like, we're doing something that really impacts people's lives. Like, you talked about this a little bit, and I know you you've seen both sides of it. You've seen what we do. You've seen what other agencies do. Different industry, different part of this industry. But I know you mentioned this earlier. You don't like the sleazy practices per se. Right?
No.
And you run in, when you do this, especially the way we do it, you run into that a lot, because agents that fill out forms fill out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember one of my best clients, this lady has given me more referrals than every other client I've had combined. But I went to her house and she buys everything. When I walked in, she was on the Home Shopping Network buying shit. Like, she pulled out every policy you could buy on the phone or through the mail she had. And most of them were not real insurance. They all this but that's a lot of our clients. Yes. That's an extreme. But how many times do you sit down with someone where you go, this ends in 2 years? It goes up every 5 years. Did you know that you're not covered for the first 3 years?
Yeah.
Most of them don't know.
We have a very, very high demand. Like, we demand our agents to educate.
Yeah.
You know.
Why is that so important to you? Like, it seems like a no-brainer. Like, do right by people, but believe it or not every agent does. Why is that so important to you?
It's an important product, man.
Yeah.
It's such an important product, but the thing is it's a very confusing product. It's a very confusing industry. Like I said before, the stigma of insurance and salespeople alone cloud how important life insurance coverage is.
Sure.
And if you take the time to actually break this stuff down to the client, even if let's just say you can't put them in a better spot, they appreciate the fact that you took the time to educate them.
Right.
And will probably throw you a referral if it's ever happening again. But you have to take the time to do that. What is it? 3 minutes out of your day to properly like explain, guaranteed issue over day one coverage.
Yeah. And there's plenty of clients, like, so if it's not a good fit, which doesn't, I mean, and we're talking like the exception. You're not going to meet with 10 families and, hey, all 10 were all set, Mike. They all were. No, someone's lying.
Right.
But if you meet with 10 and 1 out of the 10 is all set, it does happen.
Yeah. And
it's okay. There's plenty of clients out there.
I actually appreciate those people because they're actually checking. And at the end of the day, it's like, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to speak to anybody else. Stop filling stuff out. Stop putting your personal information out to people who are never going to call you back.
Right.
You have the best policy for what you're looking for. Get to the bottom of it for the client.
Yeah.
They don't, especially in the final expense space.
Yeah.
These people have talked to, gotten sold by.
Right.
Every type of person, salesperson, like they just want to know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. How many of your clients like have no insurance that have never discussed insurance with someone? I would guess probably relative, like very, very little.
It's if they come from a job where they have coverage. Some of those guys, don't necessarily understand because they've thought the whole time, whatever, I have work coverage.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's talked to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like, we've always said this, when you're dealing with your clients, your job as a Family First Life agent is to put them, if you can, put them in a better position than they were in before you met them. And if you can't, your job's to leave it alone.
I try to tell them, whatever we're going to write you, I am confident that you could talk to 1,000 agents and they're not going to be able to better this.
Yeah. And
we take a lot of pride in underwriting. We take a lot of pride in where we put people, the companies, and I think that's important. I have a high persistency, 9 chargebacks?
Yeah.
10? I don't even remember.
For the year?
Yeah, it was something super, super low.
Yeah. Super low.
One guy texted me this huge apology that he got his budget wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the time we took.
Yeah.
Right on the phone to figure that out.
But you're better off taking that because some people go, well, I'm trying to get on to my next appointment and write more business. Yeah, but if 40% of it's falling off the books, you're not doing anything anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if I should or shouldn't say this. I probably could have written 500, 600, like whatever that number is, but I'm not going to put something out there that even has a possibility of them not knowing. I just won't do it. I refuse to do it.
Yeah, you could have helped almost 100 additional families, but why if you know there's not a chance? I mean, because, dude, when you're in the appointment or when you're on the phone, whatever it is, if they're going to keep it or not.
Yes.
And if you don't, you're head faking, you're lying to yourself.
100%. You know if it's going to charge. If you write it and you get off, you're like, that didn't go well.
Yep.
It's almost like call them back and honestly, can I be honest with you real quick? Is this right?
Yeah.
I think they respect that more than having a payment yoked 3 days
Especially
later.
when they start asking, well, am I locked into this? Is it hold on, we're buying life insurance here. If there's any reason you think you're going to cancel this, tell me now.
I don't get into an application unless all parties are on the same page.
Yeah.
We are doing this application for your life insurance. Not to see if you can get it.
Right.
Not to see if we're going to get approved.
Yeah.
To get your life insurance. Everybody cool with that? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Because you'd rather get to know there.
Yeah.
If they go, no, man, I was really just checking it out. I'm not.
Bye.
Okay, cool. And I still fall back to, hey, I did something wrong because I didn't explain it properly. I didn't connect enough, whatever. I didn't show them the value. I didn't find out their why. There's something I still did wrong if we get there. But there's times where I'm willing to just accept that and move to the next appointment.
More no's than yeses.
Absolutely.
More no's than yeses. It's very true. I do a couple things. I probably go a little bit overboard.
Yeah.
But because it's telesales, I completely understand the hesitance or the especially now, like the calls these guys get, the amount of call, just it's crazy, right? So I will screen record the application while it's recording me talking to the client, and I'll send it to them afterwards with their application. Yeah. So they know, like, a sense of, like, okay, like, I sat with a normal person, like, you know, hopefully at that point they're trusting you anyways. Yeah. Obviously, if you're doing the app, I'm trying to reassure and give them, you know, as much peace of mind as possible.
That's great, because the red flags are there. I just think people ignore them because whatever, you're brand new and you really want to get this sale, you need the money, whatever it may be, but you know this thing is going wrong, and when you get that charge back a week later, you're not surprised. No. But why not just let's not write it? Because well, I got paid on it, but it's going to get charged back anyway, so you really didn't.
You know, I'd go back and tell myself that would be the thing. If you were to ask me, what would you go back and tell yourself? It's like, solidify your sale. Yeah. Know that it's right. Know that the why is right. Know that the policy is right. Know that the price is right. Yeah. And know that they fully understand what they're doing and when their payment's coming out. Yeah. That's just a me thing.
Right. Oh, hey, it works, dude. You hit Hall of Fame. You got good number. You know, I know you have good numbers. I never get a complaint about you. I get complaints. Clients call. So-and-so did X, Y, Z. I get carriers that call sometimes. I've never heard your name on any of those lists, so.
Knock on wood again.
Yeah, but no, dude, this is awesome stuff. We like to end with some fun stuff, Mike. Okay, so these questions are going to have nothing to do with life insurance. There's I'm going to pick a few random from this list of 20 or so questions that I got here. So you're a movie guy, right?
Sure.
So you're going, you know, Elon Musk wants to move to Mars, right? I could be exaggerating a little bit, but say you're on this ship to Mars, and he says, Mike, you can take one movie with you. We don't have a lot of space. What would that one movie be?
Goonies.
Really? That's your favorite?
I mean, I got to laugh.
Okay.
I got to laugh, and, you know.
Goonies is a classic, dude. Actually, it was
treasure hunt, man.
Yeah.
That's like.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I am.
Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Cumbies,
okay. If you had to pick Dunkin' or Starbucks, though.
Dunkin'.
Yeah, there you go. You're a New England guy.
Yeah. Starbucks is drinking dessert. You're just drinking desserts. That's what it is. You're drinking a dessert.
Yep. All right, let me get one more here for you. This is an interesting one. What animal would you be if you could be any animal in the world?
I mean, the first choice for I'd be a wolf. I'm not a sheep. Nah.
I thought you were going to go lion.
I'd be like a gorilla or something. Yeah. I don't want anyone messing with me.
Just hang out by yourself. Yeah.
I want to be able to like swing from trees and do crazy stuff, but also be able to, be stronger than everybody.
Love it. Last one. Here's a good one. What's a purchase you made that you immediately regretted? Is there a long list?
Sentimental maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't even think I don't have one.
Okay. Here's a go. You a music guy? Yeah. Most embarrassing song that you secretly love to listen to?
Oh man, I'm an Alanis Morissette junkie.
Okay, there you go.
Jagged Little Pills. That's the album. That's the album.
That's your guilty pleasure album?
Yeah, that's the album.
Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you doing. I appreciate what you shared, man. I really do, and I know that. It's going to help somebody watching. Because everyone's going through
one person. That's why you have to do it. That's why you have to give back, even if it helps one person.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to hear. And it's like I could imagine how proud your parents and your kids are now, and it's just going to continue to get better.
That's what I was saying to you earlier. Like the red jacket for the sales part is cool. Yeah. But the red jacket, it's a little bit more. It kind of signifies like where we're all at. I needed them. I needed the support system. I needed it all. Yeah. Because they've all known the potential or capabilities or whatever.
Right.
But
do they know what the red jacket means?
They do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're all going down to convention.
Yeah.
Got a nice big old Airbnb, and we're going to have a good time and,
Yeah.
Celebrate it.
Cool. We'll make sure they're at the award show.
They're going.
Yeah.
They'll
Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
It's been fun to watch, and again, I appreciate you sharing and helping everyone out. If you're going through something, or you've gone through something, came out the other end, let us know. I mean, we love to hear, the struggle and the victory on the other side of it.
Absolutely.
Not everybody makes it to that other side.
Absolutely.
So, well, thanks again, dude. Appreciate you coming in. Guys, thanks for downloading and watching. We're right here every week on True Talk. We'll see you next week.